Barbie, the 2023 film that stars Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, America Ferrera, and then Issa Rae, and then Rhea Perlman, and then we got Will Ferrell in the film, and so many more classic actors, including Samuel Liu. And anyway, me and Chris saw this film last Sunday, actually. So it's been 2 days, right? And I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my god, this was one of the funniest movies of 2023. It was one of the best films we've seen this year." Yeah, it was very fun. So, Chris, go ahead. I think you and I are kind of different about this film, but that's a good thing. It's a good contrast. But
I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. I'm more on like the message about the film than like the message of the film they're trying to say. But we'll get into that. But what's your thoughts on the film? My bad.
No, like it was. No, you didn't do anything wrong. No, it was a good film. Just the silliness of it, and the performances, most notably, the musical sequences was amazing. The dancing sequences was amazing. Will Ferrell was, absolutely hilarious. I thought he delivered the funniest lines, at the right times, and
yeah,
it really did. And definitely that little girl. She was definitely fiery, and delivered some scathing lines. I was like, ouch. I was like, ooh. Yeah. She pulled no punches at all. But I love how at the end of the day she was able to rekindle her relationship with the mom, and it definitely had its definitely emotionally moving moments as well, especially when the mom of the real world, she was just she was just going off on just the things that women face in society today. And I thought this movie mirrored the pressing issues we face in society today in regards to gender equality. Now, I know a lot of people saying, some people are saying, this is a perfect feminist movie and the movie's too feminist. That the movie's anti-male. I would say the sequence in where the Barbies had the Kens like turn on each other so that, the Barbies can like take back, Barbie world, Barbie world. And before that, in Barbie world, it's basically this society that we live in today, but it's flipped, where the women are in power and the men just exist, but they are subjugated, and they don't have like the same rights as women do. And I'm like, okay, like that isn't feminism at all. Feminism seeks equality and equal opportunities between men and women. They don't seek a hierarchy where women are in power and men aren't.
that's true. Um, well, I will say they have very. This movie tries to be very messy. If I'm saying that, very messy kind of movie, and I will say,
some people may see it as a progressive movie, kind of. I would say,
yeah, which is very impressive. I guess for me, I like the film because they did a good job of tiptoeing that's like messages that they're trying to say, not and not offending the audience, which I'm kind of shocked about because this can easily offend the people. Like, and I'm with you, Chris, about certain things I don't like. Like, it's not venomous, as we discussed last Sunday when we were done watching the film. After the film was done, we kind of discussed a little bit about what they were trying to say, and I think there was I think there was certain plot storylines that they couldn't maybe develop more, but they just didn't have time to finish up. Like the whole Kane thing was kind of underdeveloped if you think about it. Like we kind of left it open ended. If they make a sequel, like I think it'd be kind of cool to have a Kang sequel. Like just focus on Kang as a character, and I think it can actually satisfy a conclusion to that like storyline. I wonder if they left that open ended because as it is, it's kind of unsatisfied because it's like, oh, they're like they made some progress, but they haven't, after this like serious man war they had in the film. Um, but I will say it's one of the most fun movies we had this year. That was like I think one of the issues this year I think people have was like we got so many franchise sequels and like returning in this years and some of them were great. Um, but I think people are just dying for like original content and IP films. And so like Barbie and Oppenheimer really satisfied that. And I think that's why Barbie hit so big this year as the number one highest grossing film for 2023. I think it had everything for people. It was like a very original idea. It's based on IP, but it hasn't been like done before, Barbie movie. Um, it has such a unique voice and visuals we never seen before. Like it was so cool that Derek and her team did such a good job of Barbie Land to look like a toy like land. Like some of the Barbie products that you've seen, like the girls and like the houses, like they nailed that. That was so incredible. So I think the movie really excels on the visuals and really the performances. I think this is one of the best performances.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to read you a statement from a critic from the Daily Mail. So
Sure.
here how this critic describes the Barbie movie. It's a deeply anti-man move quote. It's a deeply anti-man movie, an extension of all that TikTok feminism that paints any form of masculinity other than the most anodan as toxic and predatory. Every male character is either an idiot, a bigot, or a sad, rather pathetic loser. Do you unquote? Do you agree with this statement or disagree?
I will disagree on the part that they're bigots and was it the last part sad or something like that? Like I I think that the movie is showing if we have a society that had the females the females were like in power and then the man was in the shoes of the females, then they feel what the females have been experiencing. And I think the film handled that very well. I don't like I think people have to understand that there was other things that the film was joking at and like stabbing at, like, because like remember, like the like the CEOs and Mattel, like that is like real, and I like that the film didn't shy away from that. Like it happened. So like they have in control of Barbie, the Barbie franchise like that, and so like and the reason they did it, for the successful change, it's like either for money or for image. And I think that's the thing that is very true of these products and these brands. It's always about the money, profits, or the image of the brand to be like not affected by negativity, stuff like that. But I disagree with the quote, like, because like despite because like first off, like the CEO and the whole man there are predicted in the way that CEOs are, and then like Ken, he's a good character, like he's very smart, and like I think what he's doing makes a lot of sense because he is feeling underappreciated by Barbie, and so like it's technically Barbie's fault that he went in this radical dictatorial regime on Barbie Land, because
Well, yeah, because when I understand when you mistreat a group for so long, when you push someone, they push back. And
Yeah,
when that scene where Barbie was crying in front of Ken, and he was saying, how does that feel? It doesn't feel too good, doesn't. Um, and I think that really speaks to that frustration and that alienation of that rejection he was feeling from in the world of Barbie Land. And
yeah,
that's what, unfortunately, it's like that for real, but it's like that for women and for many men as well. When we don't, any man that doesn't follow the typical expected behaviors of men, the expected behaviors of men, and we have to be like stoic and tough and dominant and competitive. And there's a lot of men that are not like that at all, and a lot of those men get a lot of stigmatization for not following those tropes.
yeah. Well, and that's why I sort of like the commentary, because they're saying that for both parties. Like, look at where Barbie is a good example of that. Like like we saw this like woman being persecuted because she is not like the stereotypical Barbies in the Barbie land. And
Mm-hmm.
like even towards the end, they admit to that, and then she accepted a job for sanitary. What was it like? San san sanitary or something like that, or like it's something about health, like cleaning something. I don't know. It was something that where Barbie just accepted it, and like Alan, Alan, the other Ken Barbie doll that was played by Michael Say from Scott Pilgrim. Like he was sort of not persecuted, but like he was like being unnoticed by the other Kens. Like he's not like the other Kens because of if you understand the Mattel history, like he was disaffected. He was discontinued because he wasn't popular enough. So
Right.
like we're discussing in both parties, but it's in with different characters, not in our main characters. You know what I mean? Because our main
Mm-hmm.
characters are dealing with something else, like the American foray and the stereotypical Barbie played by Margot Robbie. They're dealing with external crisis they're facing, and like it's simultaneous. That's what they're talking about there, and that's the most consistent thing that they're really hitting home in this film. Where I think for me, as I brought up, the other themes are there, but it's with different characters, and we don't spend enough time on them, to really satisfy that discussion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
You know, um, but I think it's there, and that's good. They're discussing it. But if we get a sequel, I think you could develop that more in the sequel. You know?
Yeah, I can sequel. That would be nice.
Yeah, I'll be. Oh my god, I'll be so happy to
But
see
just
other
like
ones.
Oppenheimer, this film had a pretty all-star cast. I mean, you had Issa Rae, you had that woman that was in was it Murder in the Orient Express? One of those films.
Um,
Kenneth Varga.
Death and Denial. Emma Berkeley or something like that.
Right. Yes, Death on the Nile. I'm sorry. And you had Michael Cera. You had Ben Kingsley. He's going to be playing Bob Marley in his upcoming biopic.
Yeah.
You see, of course, Ryan Gosling, Margot Robbie, and you had Will. You had Will Ferrell. You had that woman that played Weird Barbie. She's been on Saturday Night Live. Kate McKinnon. Um,
Yeah.
so wow, like these two movies that we're discussing had great casting.
Yeah. They did. I mean, that's the thing.
Oh, and
That's
don't
so
forget
funny.
Simu Liu, our MCU Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Well,
Alexander.
remember. Yeah. Well, we got multiple Marvel actors here. Like Issa Rae was in Spider-Man. Kingsley Benair was in Secret Invasion recently, and then Parson
Right.
Yu and Shang-Chi. And then I'm trying to figure out. Oh well, then DC like John Cena from Peacemaker. Margot Robbie and Harley Quinn. And then I'm trying to figure out who was the other one. but yeah, a lot of major actors I recognize. Um, but yeah, speaking of Weird Barbie, I think Weird Barbie was my favorite like character. It was just so funny how she was really like a weird character, like how she like move her body like a
Hmm.
plastic dog you can do, and like when we saw her again, it was so funny when Margot Robbie didn't recognize her, and like it just had that image of the creepy messed up Barbie doll, and then we saw it. Oh man, that was comedy gold. I just love that. Um, yeah, great ensemble cast. I mean, the casting was great here. I love Margot Robbie as the Barbie here, the lead. She was great. She really like was really a star here, and like everything about external prices and all that was really well done, and like it was like the heart of the themes the film wanted to talk about, and that was nailed so perfectly by Margot Robbie's performance in the film. Um, and of course Ryan Gosling was great. Like he is like he this is my favorite
Absolutely.
performance.
I did not know
As
that man could sing. He has a voice.
Yes, I think he's a musician. I think I remember.
I did not know that about him. I thought, yeah, they must have rehearsed those musical and dance sequences so many times because like it was so well put together and the choreography was just, it was on point, dude. I was just really surprised and really amazed at how amazing the musical sequences were.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was. Oh my god, the musical was great. My favorite, like, okay, so the uh, dance the night away by Dupa Libre. That's her name. The mermaid that we saw, the mermaid lady. She's a singer. And she has a really great song. And thought the song in Barbie's house party was really great.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was very catchy. And
Right.
I'm trying to think out what the use of the 2001 Space Odyssey music was still great, but hilarious what they used in the film twice. But it was really great. I tried to go. I should check the soundtrack. Speaking of music career, yes, Ryan Gosling has a music career, and he was also part of the Mickey Mouse club when he
Uh-huh.
was a kid. He was there for 1993 and 1995.
Right. And whoever was in charge of like the production design, you know, that person gets top-notch performance. It accurately depicted Barbie Land. Really, really, really well, and the costume design, that was all on point. Oh, the costume design was really good. So whoever was in charge of that did a really great job.
Yes. Oh yes. It was awesome. Like my favorite was the Ryan Gosling like fur coat he was wearing. That was like
Hmm.
great. Oh my god. Like everything looked was like a Barbie dress that like could be like worn, which was great. Um but yeah, good point in bringing up the costume. The costumes were really great. I wish we did something more fun in the real world. Like that was
Hmm.
it's always the thing with films they always deal with when you have a fantasy kind of world, and
Well,
every time
yeah.
there's just
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, no, you were going to finish your point. I'm sorry for
Oh yeah,
interrupting.
no, very quickly. My criticism is like I get we're going to the real world. I wish we did something more stylistically in the real world, instead of just like just showing in real locations. Like it's always kind of a trap to like see the real world and stuff like that. And like especially like Last Action Hero, that Arnold Schwarzenegger like meta action film where we were like in the fictional LA, but then when him and the kid have to get out from the movie universe and get into the real world to stop the villains, like then
Hmm.
that movie just kind of lose some sting for me when we go to the real world. And that's my complaint about Barbie, but we don't stay too long for that in the movie. So thankfully. But go ahead, Chris. What were you gonna say? I think it was sounded kind of important.
Yeah, so like Barbie, it's pretty much used to convey a message of like female empowerment, and it does through like very comedic and emotional scenes. So clearly, Greta Thunberg, I think her intention was for the film to have a positive message, but also be fun at the same time, and it was. It had a lot of its funny moments, and this film really centered on like the female, I guess like the female experience.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, but yeah, yeah, especially like when we're in the real world, like we still have fun. Like it was funny in the Mattel like building, like everyone was running into like the workers like office, and like it was like a maze, which was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, it was like it was still fun. I'll say in the real world, like it was funny. Like how the Barbie and Ken was reacting to people. It was funny how they got arrested twice, which was hilarious. So yeah, and plus how they get bail. That's another thing I was thinking about in the film. Like how they let them
Yeah,
out, like,
it never. The film never really answers that question.
right?
Kind of leaves
Like
us.
I mean, they didn't do anything bad, right? I mean, like they just they hit. Well, first off, I was like, why hitting someone is going to be a thing to arrest? Like that doesn't make sense. And then the clothing, it makes a lot of sense to arrest because we're stealing clothes. So, but it was funny that they didn't return the clothes to the owner. Like it was kind of funny. They kept it. So, yeah, I don't know, but that was like kind of weird. Um, anyway, I will say, I let's get into like nitpicks. So what aspect of the film you didn't like? Because there is some problematic thing about Barbie, and we brought up the ending, with the Kens kind of like not like they sort of have like they got somewhat like a step forward in their lives a little bit, but not really.
Well,
Well,
not really, because it was basically in the end of the film,
yeah,
everything was back to the way it was. Whereas, like again, in Barbie Land, the women are on top and the men are, at the bottom. I mean, Issa was willing to give him like a smaller like position in the Supreme Court, but like it was like the hierarchy was still there. So I'm not sure what the directors and maybe Thunberg's intent was like this hierarchy and this gender inequality, like it doesn't serve a purpose to anyone, men or women. So you know I would say from that point the problem was really never solved. And but I do like that Barbie herself got an experience of what the real world was like, and and some of them. So I guess like some lines were kind of like I wasn't really feeling some of the lines. I thought the writers could have done the better job with the lines,
yeah,
but definitely there were lines that were delivered like at the right moment at the right time. But yeah, there wasn't really any solution to the main overarching problem that it was conveying, which was, I would say, gender inequality.
yeah. I think that's the major theme that was the
But then
weakest
again,
in
you
the
can't
film.
expect to solve the problem.
Yeah, no, because like it's a very difficult balance to kind of achieve it satisfyingly, in the film, and to like get people behind it. So the way that they sort of did it, which I didn't like, was like jokey about it. Like they made a joke that of the cans not achieving no profits at all, but like they got to like the minimal wage of like having what was as a race character say that they got that was like a compromise. Like I can't remember. It was like something something. It's like, give me a minute. That's something I can't remember, but it was something that they say. Uh, uh, well, yeah. Okay. I did not say nothing in the Wikipedia, so I don't know what was Issa Rae's compromise to the cans, but it was something that was low, like a low job that you're gonna get. You're not gonna get a high position in the government, really, right? So like, and it was played off as a joke, and so that was like not good. So like, yeah, like what would you expect? You know, I don't know. It was very unsatisfying. I would say, at least. But one thing that they did very well, I would say, is like the like uh like the expectations of the real world is not always true. Like nothing is always true. Like that is was very well done. Like Barbie thought that the Barbie did some good in the real world and like affected the kids, like the girl, and being role models to take their dreams. And I really like that was not true. And like what Barbie did was just like create another horror problem that was true. Image shaming and like whatever the daughters say, but like it was like very true, like body shaming or like uh, the Granger that like the Granger that Barbie has presented is not always true in real life. Like that really worked in the film. I would say, you know, like everything that Barbie is teaching is not really good, and I kind of like that the film addressed that. You know what I mean?
Right. So the film, the film seems to be critical of like the patriarchy, but I
Yeah,
think we this. I think I wanted to ask you and discuss what that word really means, because when when because like some people like kind of overuse that word, and the word is loses meaning when it's not used in its proper context. So you know
yeah.
what is the patriarchy, Andre? What is that?
I mean, in the film with the Barbie Land, I mean, it's kind of like similar to our world where the females are dominant species that have created the rules and the kind of government kind of society that they dispose and then the beliefs that they have, right? Where that's the part the what was the word? Sorry again. The
Patriarchy.
patriarchy of that world. But in the real world, the patriarchy is by the men. They're the ones that they are running the rules and like they set up the beliefs. And so like that's something that we compare and contrast how each of the party is running. Like, look at Barbie, there are you see how the females gonna run the party. It's like it's very true. They will do exactly what the men are doing in the real world. And like it's no secret. Like if the females were the dominant species, they will do exactly what the men is done. It's just gonna be a very different way. Uh, bless you. Uh, sorry. Uh,
Moving forward.
yeah, yeah. So, like, I feel like that's something that the movie is commenting on. That both sides are actually the same, but they're not equal as like species. And I think that's something that they nailed very perfectly in the film. You know, because like despite male and females are different, they still have the same uh intellectual thinking, but like they don't admit to that. You know what I mean? So like the Barbie Land are basically doing what the real world are doing, but like they don't admit to that, and that's the thing that like all societies don't admit is their mistakes and flaws as a working society. You know what I mean?
All right, so
So
let's look at what patriarchy is. It's important
yeah,
that we do our research and define these words. Okay, patriarchy, not as a noun, a system of society or government in which the father or eldest male is the head of the family, and descent is traced through the male line. A
okay,
system of society, a society or government in which men hold the power and women are largely excluded from it, or society or community organized on patriarchal lines.
okay,
Now, okay, so now we know what now we know what patriarchy is. Now in Greek,
yeah,
now patriarch, yeah. So the word patriarchy comes from the Greek word patriarchs, which means the rule of the father. It's used to
okay,
describe a social system where men have a disproportionate amount of power in social, economic, political, and religious spheres. In a patriarchal society, the most influential roles are reserved for men, and women are excluded from achieving parity with men. Okay, so now we know what the
okay,
patriarchy is, so we can use that word in its proper context. So that way, you know, it's not like hijacked or overused or used to
yeah,
mean something that it's actually not.
right, right. Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
No. That's it. That's all I
Oh, that's
answer.
it. Okay, so yeah, I think that's displayed very well in the film. Like you do see that in Barbie Land, of like a very like angelical, like a very angelic side society, and a very pitch perfect kind of society. But underneath it is not really true. It's like a very like dystopian, like very fascist way of. You think about what the daughter's saying. Her daughter's name escaped me. Uh, the human world, Sasha, that was her name. So the
Mhm.
daughter Sasha brought up fashion, which was kind of funny because he brought up what was it? We were bringing up the communists and fascism. This
Right,
really delved in the fashion way of how both society does it. Like America does it differently in terms of the fashions, right? And then you've got Barbie Land; they're doing a different type of fashion, like in a very gender way, And I think they're like this like they're kind of disrespecting what's the meaning of fashion if you see
mhm,
it in both societies, but with different genders. You know what I mean? Like you see the real world and how the man runs it, right? And then you look at Barbie Land with the females, you see how it is in terms of fashion with females. I think
right,
that's something Barbie is really talking about and like showing the size of both worlds running by different genders, you know what I mean? And I think that's the one aspect that they do well. And like they do it in a very visually way. Like because Barbie Land is like, pink and very vibrant colors. When you look at the real world, it's vibrant but very muted, colors, And so and you see that and how societies handle people's expectations and the accomplishments they do, like how like they get knowledge about their accomplishments, like it, in a very satisfied or unsatisfied way, because Sasha's Sasha's mom like is working at a very good job position, but like she's very unnoticed, and like the guy didn't like take like interest of the images, the pictures she drew of Barbie, the external crisis Barbie she was drawing that affected stereotypical Barbie in her world, and like it looked really good as Sasha brought up later in the
mhm.
film. So like yeah, I think they dealt in the patriarchy of society in a very different in both sides of genders, which I
Right.
like. So I think they do that very well. It's just like I think this movie is kind of honest. It's like there's no compromise or like really progression in both sides, really. You know, it's not like the cans. Like even the Mattel like CEOs are still the same. Like they
Yeah,
haven't changed.
yeah, they
You know what I
haven't.
mean?
Nothing really changed. So
Yeah,
the hierarchy never went away. So there was really no solution to like the conflict.
yeah, exactly. So that's unfortunate. Um, but yeah, so I think the movie does a really good job of discussing those themes. It's just like you have to like you know bear with the film when they talk about those like very heated topics. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I think now we can maybe step away with the heavy topics and talk about our like the film is funny. Like I think that's the one thing I'm really impressed is how thoughtful the film is, but also how fun is at the same time. And I think that's a really great thing about this film is that it's such a great fun film to watch. And when they nail the heavy themes, it's really good. Like the Sasha's mom speech in the film of like not getting Noah's and
That
like
was moving.
yeah, I think you hear our audience was clapping when her speech was done. Like that was a great like moment. Like really. So I really like Sasha's mom, and she was great. Um, and her speech was amazing.
No,
So I
absolutely. That speech was moving, and I just think how you notice how in that scene there was no like music or any kind of sound effects because they really wanted the girl's mom to really like punch in with the issues that women face in society, and I think that was really to get the viewer to understand what Thunberg was communicating in this movie.
yes, agreed, and it's very true, and at least he got awarded towards the end of thinking of a new type of Barbie that Mattel can produce. So that was really neat. Yeah, it's true, and I think it's all inspired the stereotypical Barbie to head to the direction of being her own self, and I think that was pay off very well towards the end of the film. So I really like that. Um, I guess one thing that I do like is the jokes. Oh my god, the what was the running gag of the Ken memes like I am Ken enough or Ken enough
Mm-hmm.
or like Ken energy
Yeah.
like all that really like really worked. Oh my god! And the Ken song I am King was really great. Oh my god! Like that was so cool that they did that. So, uh, uh yeah. What else? I am. Oh, I wanted to say something here. I was drinking. So the husband that America Ferrera's husband is in this film. That's
Yeah.
actually her real husband, real life. I didn't know that.
Well,
I
that's
was like,
actually her husband. Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. And then one thing I want to bring this up is the composer that did the film. Apparently, the
Yeah.
song "I'm Just King" was largely a joke, and they recorded a demo for Gerwig, but it wasn't a serious thing to include the soundtrack. But apparently, she liked it, and so it became a theme in the film and
Right.
in the soundtrack. So that was really cool.
And also,
Uh,
the film also was as Issa Rae was saying in one of the interviews that the film was kind of like advocating. I'm paraphrasing for like like in Barbie Land, fantasy world, everyone's equal, even though obviously there was a hierarchy there, and that everyone has free education, universal healthcare, free healthcare. So
yeah,
definitely there was a lot of political undertones in this film.
yeah, that's very true. Which I do agree. Um,
Well,
well,
progressive undertones. And
yeah, which could happen maybe one day. Yeah, I, yeah, it's like in the perfect world that could be great to be in the in that world, but sadly it's not true. But I appreciate that they added that because that is something what we need now in the world. But yeah. Okay, so I like you brought that
Well, I
up.
mean, well, in Barbie
Another
Land,
thing.
technically, if you think about it, it wasn't an equal society in Barbie Land either.
Oh no, 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 no. I like what was the Ken doing besides just like hitting on all the Barbies? like
Right,
I like
exactly.
they're just like there in the party or like in the beach. Oh, what was it? What was Ken's running gag? Like I'm a beach man or what was it?
Yeah,
Oh God.
he was just stand by and watch the beach. I'm a beach man. Yeah, so I was saying like
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
beat you
Okay.
up, Ken, or you know,
Beach up.
beach off.
Yeah, beach up. Oh my God, the beach up. That was the most hilarious. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, it's like oh my God, like oh my God, that was too funny. I'm sorry. Oh my God, the beach off. That was so funny. That was one of my. Um.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
and
the
like
funny.
my
That was the
favorite.
funny scene in the movie.
Yeah. Oh God. And then the Kens not having weapons, but they had like toy weapons to fight off. Was
Right?
hilarious.
That's fighting, going in the whole world with toys.
Yeah, and then you see one of the acceptors get hit, and then they have like when you have your arm hit, like you have a cast or like a wrap thing for your hand. You
Hmm.
see the person having his hand have the casting. I was like, what? You were hit by a toy. How do you get hit so hard? Like, oh my god, that was so funny. Oh, it was funny when we see like so many of the discontinued dolls in the Barbie universe. You know what I mean? Like the sugar daddy, the drill, like the one drill can, Alan as well, and then the planet Barbie, which was a thing. And I was that moment killed me when Will Ferrell came out from that house and he saw the planet Barbie and he's like, "Oh my god, planet Barbie! I thought I discontinued you." Oh my god, that was funny. And then what was it? The TV Barbie. Like you saw the TV in her chest or back.
Yeah,
I don't know what. Like that was really funny. And of course the how can I say this amicably? The bosom Barbie,
hmm
which inflated big. It was like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. That was the most hilarious. Oh my god, that was funny.
kind of a
Uh,
strange scene in the movie where the weird Barbie asks like Margot Robbie's Barbie is like, here, if you take this shoe, things go back to the way it was. You take this, you can discover the truth about the universe. And predictably speaking, Barbie's like, I'm gonna choose the first one, back to the way it was. And she was like, oh nope, we got to
yes,
do it again. You have to want to know. So then why would you give her the option of choosing one if you knew you were gonna have her discover the universe anyway? But
yeah,
definitely set the tone for the movie. I think that's particularly set the tone for how the rest of the movie was gonna go.
yeah. No, no, no. I agree. Um, like well that and then just the way Barbie was handling Ken so many times in the film was like perfect way to understand what was going to be. So yeah, it was really great. Other jokes. What was the other gags that we liked that was funny? I oh I tried to think what was the funny one. It was funny that they're every time they were driving, they were singing song, and then the car flips. That still was so funny. Still,
Mm-hmm.
like when you saw Barbie, and then of course like Kane was like he kind of like sneak in, and then of course the real world um humans were driving, and then Alan was in the back. That was funny as well. That was really. Oh, him, of course, Alan beating up the was it the construction workers? Like out of nowhere, we get a fight of Alan versus these men, and that was like three times his size, and like he was able to beat them, which was funny. Oh my god, oh, that was hilarious. Let me check other trivia. Apparently, Margot Robbie had two requests for the director. She wanted a slide for her Barbie house, so after she go to bedroom, she can swim her pool, and then she requested for a mermaid Barbie to be featured in the film somehow, which they apparently did. Um, okay. What else? Trying to figure out what other things could be kind of interesting to see. Oh, so like, if people were confused about like here's interesting stuff about the Barbie dolls that we've seen. Like, Issa Rae's character is the President Madam, the President doll. Her famous was based on the 2004 part for the President African American version that had a red pencil. So, and apparently the Barbie for President is a Mattel doll line that first appeared in 1992. So that was interesting. Uh, what else? The font used in the film is based on the font that was used for all the Barbie dolls products and merchandise from 1975 through 1991. Because the Barbie logo usually undergoes a makeover for each generation. Huh, that's interesting. Um, so apparently the woman on the bench was played by the Oscar-winning costume designer Anne Wolf, whose long and prolific career first started in the mid 1960s. Huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. That was fun. Um, oh, so okay, so and then of course the opening scene of the film with the Barbie swimsuit, that is something that is a recreation of the original 1959 Barbie doll that was first debuted in the stores. That's like, if you didn't know that, like, that's actually a thing. Uh, what else? So, and then this one is kind of funny. So apparently, there isn't a Pacific King that was a Asian variant, but apparently a first Asian King doll was to be released in 2011. But yeah, apparently with the collector edition Japan King was shown in Samurai Ken. It was clearly part of the Dolls of the World series. But not only was he the first Asian Ken, he was also the first and so far only Ken to be included in the Dolls of the World, which was previously a Barbie only line. Interesting. What else? I'm like looking through here, see any interesting. The actress. So this was funny. In the actress that played the Barbie, Emma Mackey from the Deafened and Nile, her co-star, the other Ken that she was with, is her co-star in the Netflix show Sex Education, and that actor. Let me get his name because this is important. His Nika Geta, if I'm saying that actor's name, he is going to be the new Doctor in the new Doctor Who series soon. And yeah, and he's the co-star for her in the Netflix show I mentioned, Sex Education, and they always pair them up several times in the film. If you didn't know the background that I just mentioned, that they're co-stars from the Netflix show Sex Education, that was kind of cool that they did that, pair them. So that was really cool, and they're good friends. So that was really neat. But yeah. So and then what else? I want to bring up something. This is kind of cool. This movie's been in development since 2009. And then we're gonna wrap up about Barbara Harmer, pop culture phenomena that it became. So this film was in 2009,
Right.
development. And do you know any specific details, like who was the first actress that was going to play Barbie before Margot Robbie? Let me. It's a
No,
trivia
no,
quiz.
no. To be honest, I really wasn't. I really didn't pay attention to the Barbie movie until my cousin and my cousin-in-law saw it because I was
Oh
asking them
yeah,
questions. They were telling me about it. So because of those two, it caught my interest, and I know you wanted to see it as well.
yeah,
And of course, I had heard criticisms that it was anti-male, so I wanted to investigate and see for myself.
okay,
But it was actually I wasn't expecting it to be as funny as the way it was. I kind of thought
no,
it was just gonna hit at like social issues and progressivism, which it did, but there was a lot of funny moments in it. So I'm glad that you wanted to see it and that I gave it a chance, and it was funny. So I enjoyed myself. But as far as the backstory of the movie, I just know I don't really know about that. I did do some background on Greta Thunberg, and she does definitely has an interesting story and biography. And that also intrigued me as well. So I just wanted to see what she put
mhm,
out, and I thought she put out a good product.
yeah, yeah. That's true. Is that the former CEO for Mattel? If we're discussing that created Barbie. Um, considering you brought up a person, I don't recognize. Uh,
Greta Thunberg? No, I
yeah.
was just Greta Thunberg.
Okay.
I didn't say
Because
but no.
yeah, yeah. It was so like the person, the Mattel former CEO that created Barbie, she has a very fascinating history. If you check it out, Chris, so like she did got into legal troubles, so I that was
Uh
very
huh.
true in the film. And I was very happy this film actually addressed some of the scandal and like mistakes that Mattel did over the years. So I was very happy they did that. And I was shocked that they were going to bring up the former CEO that started Mattel and the Barbie line. That so fascinating. Um, so yeah, so the original actress that was going to be Barbie was Amy Schumer, uh, the other comedian actress. She was supposed to. She joined the project after I think because this was quit jumping from studios like in 2001, 2009. Sorry, let me make that really clear. Then, in yeah, like the development began in 2014 for a film. But in 2009, Universal Pictures got the rights to do it, but then it got expired by 2013. 2014, Sony Pictures required the film rights, and then there's like a lot of multiple writer and director changes with the casting of Amy Schumer for that. But then after that didn't go well, later and halfway was supposed to be Barbie, and then it was around 2018 Warner Brothers got the rights, and then around there 2019 Robbie was cast. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up. And apparently recently Gal Gadot was supposed to be Barbie, but she had to turn it down when
Really?
the schedule come. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Gal,
That's
Gal Gad.
fascinating.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really see her as Barbie. I don't know. Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
so
thought
tough.
Margot Robbie was the perfect fit. I thought she embodied that character perfectly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that I agree. So, and she looked like a like pretty Barbie, like she was the Barbie, like she is like a toy and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
So
a it's a
I
movie
agree.
about dolls and toys. So
Yeah, yeah, it is. But yeah, so I just want to bring that up. Plus, to wrap things up, we're a bit over 2 hours, but um, Barbenheimer. If anyone don't understand what I'm saying, Barbenheimer, it was this very funny like TikTok like internet meme because we got Barbie and Oppenheimer releasing the same day. So like first Christopher Nolan left Warner Bros. Because of what happened with the HBO Max release day and all that, and so he wasn't happy the way they were doing that. So he left them, and Universal picked up the rights of Oppenheimer to be the next distributor for Nolan's film. To fight, and despite Nolan, Warner Bros. Decided to release Barbie on the same day. So
Right.
to just like, I don't know, despite Nolan for some reason. And then the internet just started to make jokes about these two films because it was just a weird combination of films. You got the light fantasy comedy film, and then you got the dark and psychological, like 3-hour epic film. And then somehow it just became a pop culture thing. People were excited for that. And then,
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Chris. What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, because those two films really hit at issues that we're facing today, so they couldn't have come at a better time.
Oh, I mean, that's very true. For me, I think it was just people were very intrigued about these films, and I think in a lot of ways the internet helped these films to be marketed so well that people went in and spent their monies. So like right now, so Barbie became the #1 highest grossing film of 2023. It actually outdone Super Mario Bros., which was crazy. It became the highest grossing film in general for Warner Bros. It beat Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2. That was their top part. So that was crazy. And then Oppenheimer, recently, I brought up the overtaken Guardians 3 in contest. It's actually the second highest grossing rated R film of all time, behind the Joker film 2019. So it beat out The Matrix Reloaded, and it beat out the first two Deadpool films. So it was crazy. And it's also the #1 film to not open at #1, because it opened #2 the day that they opened the first week. And that's still impressive. They still made money during the first week, but just not as #1. So I'm very impressed about this, the Oppenheimer pop culture phenomenon that it became.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a pop culture phenomenon.
Yeah, and it's rarely a thing that we see sometimes in our lives, Chris, which is crazy. But I'm happy it happened because what was it? June was kind of grim for films. It was like box office bomb after box office bomb and disappointment. The Flash didn't do well.
A rough time with films, so I think Barbieheimer was a rare plus for summer movies.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it was good because afterwards we started to get better films to perform. The Meg 2 did well, the TMNT did well, which is good, and except for Blue Beetle is not doing well, whatever. But yeah, so it was really crazy time. And also the people that was the movies that were close to Oppenheimer were really affected by that. Mission Impossible 7 was affected by this badly because of the amount of IMAX screens they needed, because Oppenheimer had full control of that for the next 3 weeks. And I heard Tom Cruise was upset about that. And likely so, because unfortunately that movie didn't do too well in the box office, unfortunately, which is sad. Great film from MI7. And then another casualty that no one cares about, I don't care about this, but Haunted Mansion. Who in the right mind released Haunted Mansion in July? It was just so dumb by Disney. And yeah, they should have stuck with the August whatever. So, any last things to say about Barbie, Chris?
I think that film, along with Oppenheimer, were the highlights of this summer. But I'm looking ahead now to 2024. I can't see what 2024 has in store for movies, and
Okay.
that's about that's about it. But yeah, I enjoyed Barbie and I enjoyed Oppenheimer. And as I was saying, I thought Barbie was a pop culture phenomenon, and it was very you know if you want to classify it as a progressive movie, I would say so too, since it hit a lot of like feminist themes, but it was silly and funny at the same times.
Yeah, I agree. I like these both movies. I'm happy we discussed this first. Before we will discuss the other two movies that we'll announce soon. But yeah, it was a great time. I'm very happy we got a chance to see Barbie. We saw Barbie a long time ago, but it's great to talk to that again. Excuse me. But for our next podcast, for audience to know what was our next step. So me and Chris will be back to discuss Team AMT and MI7 because we saw the films, long time ago, and that will be our next podcast later date. So I'm not announcing how many weeks, but yeah, it'll be our next discussion topic because we really love Mission Impossible 7: Dead Reckoning Part 1. We really love the Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I had the chance to saw it twice, which I was very happy, and same thing with MI7. Chris, you had a chance to rewatch Mutant Mayhem like the second time, or just that one time that we saw with Chris?
No, that was just the one time.
Okay, but that's fine. I mean, we only saw once Barbie and all, so but yeah, so I saw it twice. My cousins were here, so I had just saw Mayhem and late in August, and MI7 I saw the second time with you because you didn't have a chance to see it in July, right? That was like the thing. So, but yeah, but thank you, Chris, for joining me. I was so happy we discussed another movies to discuss for the Andreas Pop Culture Talk. I'm very happy you got your job.
Thank you. And
yeah,
thank you for having me tonight. I'm glad we had this discussion. I'm looking forward to our next one. And I also saw Blue Beetle. I really liked that film. I really liked how it really represented Latino culture very, very well. I was not, besides Zolo Mariduena, I wasn't familiar with the other actors, and also George Lopez. I mean, I know George Lopez, but George Lopez brought comedic relief, and the villain Caraplax. I knew him from Apocalypto and Susan Sarandon. She did a really good job as Ted Kord's sister, who was also a Blue Beetle, being a villain. And we'll see what the rest of 2023 brings with films. But I'm also looking forward to next year.
Yeah. It's funny you're bringing up 2024. Are you saying that because of Doom Part 2 just got moved?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Yeah, I knew it because I had a feeling like, why are you reading up 2024? And I'm like, oh yeah, it has to be Doom Part 2 because of Zendaya.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and plus, once all the DC films came and went, I was like, all right, it's time to move on to next year.
Oh my god, that is so funny. Buddy, like we got other movies like the Marvels is coming in November, hopefully. We got the Blanca show, like movie, and Aquaman 2. We're getting a trailer for that soon, 4 days, apparently they say.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, now I'm working at the movie theaters now, and I may actually see it. Yeah, so the excitement won't be the same. So yeah, I'm just excited for this year, for the rest of this year, for next films, and I would have loved to see Dune if it had come out this year, but unfortunately things happen.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I mean, damn you, writer strikes. But hey, that's the studio's fault. They need to pay their actors and writers. That's the thing.
Right, they do.
Yep,
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, and on that note, please, folks, support the writers and the actors on the strike. It's very important. For now, thank you for everyone to listen to this podcast. Me and Chris will be back soon for another podcast on Andreas Pop Culture Talk on the TMNT Neo Mayhem movie, and with the double film with Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning Part 1. So thank you everyone. Have a good night. Have a good week, and we'll be back soon.